Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by world super welterweight champion Natasha Jonas. Tasha, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm all right.
You don't hang about, it seems. You know, you've won your world title, straight back in, and now you're going for a second one, unifying the crown already. How did it come about, the Patricia Berghult fight?
It's just a matter of opportunities. There was no secret. We was kind of chasing the Hannah Rankin. She's decided to go a different way. And then, as luck would have it, Berghaus and Brockhaus was cancelled. And that made her available. And I don't know how Ben pulled it out the bag, but he messaged me on the Tuesday morning saying, would you take the Berghaus fight? I said, yeah. And by the Friday, it was announced. So there was no messing around, no hanging around. And yeah, I'm just happy to be fighting for another belt.
Now, you mentioned the Hannah Rankin fight there. Looking at the direction she's going in instead, I don't know if this is common knowledge yet or not, but I'm happy to reveal it, is that she's apparently going to be fighting Terry Harper, who's moving up several weights. Can you kind of understand why she's taken that route instead of unifying against you? Obviously, there's less on the line for her, but you might say it's an easier opponent given the weight Terry's been fighting at.
I wouldn't say it was an easier opponent. I think Terry definitely does cause problems for Hannah, but I think maybe she believes it's more of a fight that she can win. I don't know. Maybe the offer was better because we forget that boxing is a business and you've got to take the best options available to you. So, for whatever reason, she's took that option and like, yeah, good luck to her. But yeah, I think both can cause each other problems. Obviously, Terry's had a lot of hand injuries. She's coming up from a lighter weight, so Hannah might feel that, you know, when it comes to punching it off, and you know, she's a bit mentally.
Oh, you've just muted yourself.
Sorry.
Sorry.
She's been. We've seen a fragility mentally, so maybe Hannah thinks she can, you know, overcome that, and you know, Terry would have to obviously be punching it off in smaller gloves. So there's lots of things, but I do still think Terry causes Hannah a lot of problems. She's sharp, she's fast, she's, you know, she's got the ability she's got a good engine, so she still causes a lot of problems.
When it was originally going to be Hannah, was your fight always targeted for the Liverpool show, or was it initially targeted for the all-female card the week after?
It was always back and forth, you know, between what Sky wanted, what I wanted, what Ben wanted. So I knew it was one of them dates. So yeah, it just so happens that it happens to be in Liverpool, which is kind of what I wanted anyway. So
yeah, well, now instead of being part of an all-female card, which is historic, of course, but now you get to be a big star in your own right. You don't have to share the spotlight with a history-making event, if you like, and it's in your hometown.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's loads of meccas of boxing that I've boxed in before, like York Hall, you know, and Liverpool for me, there's no place like home. I obviously want to do the Madison Square Gardens and I want to do the Vegas, but for me to box in for the first time in about 3-4 years, to box in front of me home crowd is something that I've wanted to do, and Ben was aware of that. So, yeah, it's just it makes it even better coming back as champion and not just and unifying. So yeah, it'll be a good night. I don't get lost in the Baumgardner Mayer, Sav Clarissa card, and I'll still be probably commentating on that anyhow. So it's not like I'll be missing out. I'll still be there, but just giving me opinions instead of actually boxing, which is a little bit better because I get to chill and relax.
Do you know if you'll be going on last?
I'm not too sure about that yet. I think that's still being debated about.
It'd be pretty cool if you did, and then the all-female card following that as well. It's a big statement.
I think that potentially is where it might be headed, but obviously you've got to, you know, fine tune that and okay that with everybody else that's there. So,
what can you tell us about Patricia Berghult? I know she had a fairly close fight with Hannah a few years ago now. She's fought a lot of her career at welterweight. Obviously, you fought a lot of your career at lightweight. So, what can we expect from her? What are her kind of main strengths and weaknesses?
I mean, the amateurs doesn't really matter now because she hasn't been an amateur for a very long time. But I do remember her from the amateurs. I think Sweden as a nation were always quite neat and tidy. She personally is quite tall for the weight. She's got long levers. She's, like I say, neat and tidy. She's got a good lead hand. good footwork, and me and Joe were working in the gym to combat all their assets.
Do you feel, especially after the Chris Namas fight, you've carried your power right up to 154 pounds?
I think it doesn't matter what weight you are. I think if you hit anybody in the right place, it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna tell. So it was just one of them shots that I couldn't have hit it any better, and then he squared it on the jaw. And that, I think, the first knockdown was the undoing of it. The second one was a bit more, I think, a coach being worried that it could go on and continue to be knocked down, which you probably didn't want. So yeah, I think it was the first knockdown that did all the damage. And yeah, like I say, if you hit anyone in the right spot, it's going to hit, and they're probably going to react.
Do you expect Berghult to give you a few more rounds, perhaps, than Namas did?
I always prepare for 10 rounds. So, even for the Namas, I prepared for 10 rounds, and I'd spar with the best amateurs and the best pros to do that. So, yeah, I don't go into any fight underprepared. I'd rather be overprepared than anything. So yeah, we do best 10 rounds. That's what we prepare for. If it goes any quicker, it's happy days for me. I can go sit and chill and enjoy the rest of the night like everybody else. But if not, that's what you work for. So it's in the bag, it's in the bank.
And talking of the rounds, where do you sit on the whole 2 versus 3 minute debate?
To be honest, up until now, I train 3 minutes. It's only really, when you tailor make it to a fight, that I actually knock it down to 2. So the same with like the amateurs, like you just kind of do what you're told. So when they change to the 2s to the 3s for women, no one argues. You just do what you're told, and that, I think, that's the same. But the issues is if the timing changes, does that make the money change? And I think a lot of people expect it to bring about more knockouts and be more exciting, and making it more like the men's. But I don't know if the reality of that is what people want. They say they want it, but the reality is nobody liked to see Hermes knocked out like that by Savannah. Nobody liked to see Terry Harper knocked out like she did against Baumgardner. So the reality of it is that people say that they want it and say that that's what's going to make it, explode and be better. But when it actually happens, people don't like to see it. So I will do what I'm told, and I think most boxers will. So yeah, it's a bit of like, I don't really care what it is. But is it going to change me money? And is it really, really and truly what the fans want? I don't know. I don't think so.
As we said, the all-female card is the week after. You're not on it, but you probably will be commentating on it. What do you make of the concept as a whole? And is it something that when you turn pro, you could have ever imagined happening in the next few years?
I think there's been other cards, smaller hall show kind of cards that I've had all female bouts. So this is not probably the first, but it's definitely the first one televised, and it's the first one on such a big platform like Sky. I think it's a great idea. I think, at the time where women's sports evolving, especially after the Euros, and, to keep people's interest high in female sport, and to keep, participation high, and, eyes on female sport. I think it's a great concept, but we've got to have the drive of Sky to make it work, and use every available asset that it's got.
And is that what you can anticipate happening? You've had a bit of time with Sky, with different promoters, but obviously with Boxer now, they're right behind it as well. From what you've been told, and I think you're quite involved outside of the ring as well, are they putting everything behind it? Are they firing on all cylinders for this?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it'll be something along the lines of a pay-per-view event, but not actually a pay-per-view event. So, every avenue that they can use for Sky, they will do to promote it, and to ensure that everyone's aware of it, and everyone's involved on the night. So.
And I do want to ask you before we leave off about the main event of that show. I promise not to make it the headline of this video, but I do want to know who you're picking and why between Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall.
Oh God, I keep changing my mind on how, but I do think the outcome is Savannah wins. And the only reason for that is I said the opposite for Kell Brook and Amir Khan, and you know, Amir is fast and explosive, and then everyone was saying, yeah, but Kell's got that one shot, and I was like, yeah, but he's got to land it, and I think the same with Clarissa, but you know, Kell landed the shot, and the thing with Sav, I don't think Clarissa can stop her. She can maybe Joe Calzaghe overwhelm her, but I don't think she's got that one concussive shot that can stop Sav. And I just think that, you know, Sav's opponent, eventually she takes a few rounds to warm up and warm into a fight and use her awkwardness and skill. So I do think Clarissa will be winning, but then eventually Sav is going to land. And when Sav lands, like Hermes, like the one before, like Hannah Rankin, people don't get back up.
Good stuff. Well, not good stuff for Clarissa, but good
Yeah.
quote regardless.
I'm sure she'll give me help for that prediction as well, but that's just how I feel.
Well, I won't make it a headline, so she might not notice. You never know. Really, really appreciate your time. Best of luck with the rest of camp, and yeah, look forward to seeing the fight.
No problems. Thank you. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks for putting us on.
Anytime.